What if I told you that one of Rome's greatest metropolises, a sleeping giant, lies beneath our feet, almost forgotten? It's not a legend, but a true story, engraved in Italian soil. Imagine a city so rich, so powerful, so strategically vital that it was called the Second Rome, a place where gold and amber were exchanged for the most exotic spices, and where human craftsmanship created works of art that defied time. This was Aquileia, a jewel of the Roman Empire, a crossroads of cultures and trade that dictated the pace of its time. But what happened to this glorious capital, and how, from its ashes, did something even more profound emerge? Get ready, for we are about to delve not only into the earth but also into the millennia to rediscover the beating heart of an empire and its incredible, tragic yet spiritual rebirth. Aquileia was no ordinary city. It wasn't born by chance but was shaped by a vision, a Roman outpost founded in 181 BC to protect Italy's eastern borders. But soon its strategic position, just a stone's throw from the Alps and the Adriatic Sea, transformed it into much more. It became a formidable sentinel and, above all, the gateway to Central Europe. Imagine a bustling hive, where each bee brings its own nectar to create precious honey. Aquileia was like that. Its river, the Natisone, then navigable to the city center, served as a waterway, connecting the Adriatic to the depths of the continent. Here, in its bustling river port, ships unloaded goods from every corner of the known world. Imagine fragrant spices from the Orient, fine fabrics from Africa, oils and wines from across the Mediterranean. But there was one commodity that more than any other defined its wealth: amber. The Amber Road, an ancient trade route that connected the Baltic Sea with the Mediterranean, found its natural terminal right here in Aquileia. Pieces of this fossil resin, cold and mysterious gold, arrived in tons, transforming the city into a unique processing and sorting center. Amber wasn't just a gem, it was a status symbol, a currency, a talisman. This shower of gold and trade made Aquileia one of the richest cities in the Roman Empire, an unparalleled center of culture and commerce. It was a melting pot where different peoples met, exchanging not only goods but also ideas, traditions, and languages. Here, many languages were spoken, many gods were worshipped, and foods from all over were enjoyed. Its streets resounded with the chatter of merchants, the clatter of carts, and the hammering of artisans. Its baths were crowded, its theaters packed, and its civic basilicas, great public buildings, were the beating heart of social and judicial life. Aquileia was not just a city, it was a world in miniature, a beacon of civilization on the fringes of the empire. Life in Aquileia pulsated with incredible energy. It was a city of contrasts and harmonies. On one side, the roar of the Roman legions, on the other, the delicate chisels of the artisans. Think of the soldiers. Aquileia was not only a commercial center, but also a powerful military stronghold. Entire legions, the elite units of the Roman army, were stationed here, ready to defend the imperial borders. They were the guardians of civilization, harshly trained, forged by discipline. Their task was vital: to protect Italy from the barbarian incursions pressing in from the north and east. Living in Aquileia meant seeing centurions and legionaries marching through the streets every day, hearing the clang of weapons and sensing the tension and determination of those ready to sacrifice their lives for the empire. Their presence guaranteed security and stability, allowing the city to prosper, sheltered from external threats. But Aquileia was also a place where beauty flourished. Alongside the training camps and barracks, a highly refined art flourished. The city was home to talented artisans, masters of their craft, who created works of art destined to last for centuries. And among all their creations, there were the mosaics. We're not talking about small decorative paintings. In Aquileia, the mosaics were veritable stone carpets, vast and intricate, covering entire floors of private homes and public buildings. They were among the largest in the ancient world, visual narratives that could extend over hundreds of square meters. These masterpieces were not just decorations, they were expressions of Aquileia's wealth, taste, and culture. Imagine walking on a floor made of millions of colored tiles, each laid with pinpoint precision. You would see scenes of everyday life: fishermen with their nets, exotic animals, mythological figures, garlands of flowers and fruit. They were a riot of colors and shapes, a way to bring nature and imagination into the home. These mosaics speak to us of the magnificence of life back then, of the desire for beauty, of the incredible skill of hands that, with infinite patience, transformed simple stones into visual poetry. Even today, they represent the richness of Aquileia's artistic heritage, a silent but eloquent testimony to an era of unprecedented splendor. Then, like a bolt from the blue, Aquileia's glory came to an abrupt end. The 5th century AD was a time of great upheaval for the Roman Empire, an era of invasions and decline, and at the height of this storm, a figure emerged whose brutality would leave an indelible mark on history: Attila, the scourge of God. It was 452 AD when Attila and his horde of Huns, ferocious warriors from the eastern steppes, poured into northern Italy. Aquileia, with its mighty walls and reputation for impregnability, stood in their way. The city was a prime target, a symbol of Roman power that had to be demolished. The citizens, confident in their fortifications, resisted with all their might. For months, Aquileia withstood the siege, transforming itself into a stronghold of desperate hope. But the Huns' ferocity was unstoppable. According to contemporary chronicles, Attila, frustrated by the resistance, was about to retreat when he noticed a stork leaving its nest on the city walls, as if to presage the end. Encouraged by this sign, he ordered a new assault, more violent than ever. Eventually, the defenses collapsed. What followed was carnage. The barbarian invasion razed the city to the ground, literally. Homes were destroyed, temples looted, inhabitants massacred or enslaved. Aquileia, the second Rome, the magnificent metropolis, was wiped from the face of the earth. Its prosperity was extinguished, its greatness reduced to a pile of smoking rubble. It was a devastating blow, a trauma for the entire empire. It seemed like the end of everything, but it is precisely from the ashes that sometimes something new, stronger, more spiritual is born. From the ruins of Aquileia, from that total destruction, a new faith emerged, a message of hope that would take deep root. Christianity, which had already begun to spread before the invasion, found fertile ground for a spiritual rebirth in this moment of profound crisis. Even though the city had been destroyed, the Christian community of Aquileia did not give up. They literally rebuilt on top of the rubble. At the heart of this rebirth was the basilica, which became a symbol of resilience and unwavering faith. Its new floors no longer depicted fishermen or mythological animals, but recounted biblical stories and Christian symbols. Imagine Jonah swallowed by the whale, the Good Shepherd, the Eucharist symbolized by the fish. These were messages of hope, of salvation, of a life beyond earthly suffering. These mosaics were not just art, they were catechesis, they were prayer, they were the visible testimony of a faith that had resisted horror and now stood as a light in a world in ruins. The Basilica of Aquileia, with its incredible early Christian mosaic floors, is today one of the most important testimonies of ancient Christianity. It symbolizes not only the fall of a great city, but also the extraordinary human capacity to find strength and meaning even in the deepest despair, to transform destruction into new creation, to revive hope from the most utter desolation. Today, walking through the Friulian countryside, it's hard to imagine the grandeur of Aquileia. Most of the Roman city lies buried beneath the green fields, a sleeping giant. But it is far from forgotten. Aquileia is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an archaeological treasure that continues to reveal its secrets. Beneath the grass, untouched and silent, lies the history of a forgotten capital. The few visible remains, the forum, the river port, the burial ground, a few houses with their mosaics still in place, are just the tip of the iceberg. They are windows onto a glorious past, fragments of an era in which Aquileia was the center of the world. Its archaeological remains, its mosaics, the artifacts that continue to be brought to light by archaeologists, offer us precious insights into how people lived, traded, and prayed in one of the most important Roman cities. Every brick, every mosaic tile, every fragment of ceramic tells a story, evokes the lost grandeur of a city that once dominated Central Europe. But Aquileia is more than just an archaeological site. It is a powerful reminder of human resilience, the ability to adapt, rebuild, and find new faith even in the face of utter destruction. It reminds us that history is not just a list of dates and names, but an uninterrupted river of human experiences, of triumphs and tragedies, of falls and rebirths. It is a place where the past continues to whisper its secrets, inspiring wonder and reflection, a place where one can feel the weight of time and the strength of the human spirit. Aquileia is not just a memory, it is a living presence, teaching us that even ruins can contain eternal beauty and a message of hope for the future. The sleeping giant, with its epic story of wealth, destruction, and spiritual rebirth, is a beacon for all who seek to understand the deep roots of our civilization. From the gold of amber to the smoke of fires, from the magnificence of mosaics to the solemnity of faith, Aquileia has told us a universal story of power, fall, and unstoppable resilience. It's not just a monument to the past, but a powerful reminder and inspiration for the present. If this story of Aquileia has fascinated you, don't miss the next video on another incredible lost city.